Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Turbo Mono Blue Terror. This is a list that Luminati, one of the premier Terror players, has been toying with and doing extremely well with over the weekend, making top 8 in all 3 challenges over the weekend, including winning one of them with this list. So it's going to look very similar to your Mono Blue Terror lists, but with a few differences. First, we're playing 14 islands instead of 16, which is pretty significant. 16 is already such a low number. Of course, we have 4 Lorien reveals to supplement that, so it's more like 20 down to 18, but it's still a very low number. We're also not playing Delver of Secrets, which is a very powerful creature, but we're also not playing Murmuring Mystic, because obviously we can't get to 4 mana super reliably. Our goal is just to slam Tolarian Terrors and Cryptic Serpents really, really fast. And the way that we're doing that is by, of course, filling our graveyard with lots and lots of cantrips, mental notes, and thought scours. We're still playing 4 of each of those. Let me sort this a little bit more. So this first pile of 20 cards is our cantrips. Brainstorm, mental note, ponder, thought scour, all pretty common, but we're also playing 4 preordain, which is just going to fill our graveyard as quickly as we possibly can. We should almost always have a 1-drop to play. And be able to just churn through our deck. We're also playing counter spells, 3 Dispel, and one thing that I'm very happy with is a Deprive in here. Deprive is a card that I've been loving in the more standard Tolarian Terror list, just to have a 5th or even 6th copy of counter spell with a pretty minor downside. But with the Turbo list, it's even less of a downside because it's not that big of a deal to bounce one of your lands because you might not even have another land to play with so few in the deck. We're also playing 2 Sleep of the Dead, of course, 2 Demon Furior for some removal, but also 2 Vapor Snag. Demon Furior is still a card that I'm not the biggest fan of, but Illuminati seems to like and think is very good. I respect their opinion quite a bit. But with this lower to the ground version, some very cheap, reliable ways to get rid of your opponent's creature for at least a turn is really nice here, and the extra life loss can be super relevant. And then our only win cons are just those 8 Serpents and Tolarian Terrors. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. For our sideboard, pretty standard, but a little differences from the other lists. 3 Gut Shot for a null instead of Seal Sabotage, and then we're just on a full 8 of the blasts, Blue Blasts and Hydro Blasts, so that we don't get run over by red in any capacity. So, pretty excited to try this deck out. Let's take it for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. We should put Curious Obsession in Pauper. You know, that would be a cool card to see. I think it would make Mono Blue Fairies extremely strong. I think that's the deck that would appreciate it the most. I don't necessarily think it'd be overpowered. It'd be a very good card, though, I think. What's up, Ben? How's it going? All right, we only have 1 land here. I think that's a little more par for the course in this list, and we do have just a lot of ways to fill our graveyard and a Brainstorm to hopefully find that second land. I think we're going to keep this one on the play, and probably just going to Brainstorm and then maybe upkeep a Mental Note, depending on what we get. Could also just Mental Note now, and then I could like Brainstorm during our main phase. Yeah, let's go for the Brainstorm. It's probably fine. They bolt us in response. We'll take it. Okay, double island. Triple serpent. We actually don't have that many spells, so I don't really want to mill any of these, though. I probably just draw back an island. Yeah, I think I'll do a serpent, which we can mill if we want. Put back an island, which we'll draw. Then we'll pass, hold up Deprive. Even better idea, we put Colossal Rattleworm into Pauper. It'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't do that much, right? Mental Note hits a Lorien as well as the Serpent we knew about. Another Mental Note. They're going to bolt us. It's a Thought Scour, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I can play a Serpent or a Terror. I can't do both, unfortunately. And I can't do either and hold up a Deprive. I think we'll just Preordain and then play a Terror. Maybe I can find like a Dispel or something. Brainstorm. We got another terror. Oh, then I can just drop 2 terrors. That's actually fine, I think. I'm going to get rid of the Brainstorm just because I already have those, but now we can double terror. All they've done is lightning bolt us. We are going to be shields down here, so they could do something pretty decent. Get a gutter snipe out or something. Grab the prize with a lava dart. But we have kind of a 2-turn clock on them right now, which is pretty good. Dispel is good. So we'll swing for 10. And I think I'm just going to cycle this Lorien for a land and play it. We have lethal on them, so if they try to play a creature which would block, even like a Valdarn Epicure, I might just deprive it, and then we have a Dispel for something else. There's a Flame Breather. We'll definitely deprive that. If it was an Epicure, I deciding I think I might actually just leave it. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, now I can't do anything about it. We will go to our turn. If we get like a Sleep of the Dead, that'll win us the game. Perfect. Good day. Indeed. Things are going pretty well so far. How are you doing? All right, against red, I wonder what we're going to sideboard. It might be a bunch of Hydroblasts. Demon Inferior seems bad. Sleep doesn't seem very good, although it did win us the game there. Vapor Snag is okay. Dispel is obviously just worse Hydroblasts. Fine. Preparing Cockatrice for some games with my friend. Pauper, of course. Nice. Sideboard the Gut Shots. It's a great idea. Kills Mog Fanatic. Well, it kills Sneaky Snacker and Valdarn Epicure. But not sure that's worthwhile. Also, if we're trying to kill Mog Fanatic, I think Hydroblast does a fine job at that, too. It's probably just Dispels. Like, they're not the best thing ever anyway, because it's mostly just countering damage spells, and obviously they're just worse than our Hydroblasts. Heyo, how's it going, Skura? We are doing some terror right now. I guess just like up Preordain might be fine. And I know it's been a little bit since I streamed. I just had a crazy busy second half of May. We had SCG Con Cincinnati here. We had, I did a cube day with some friends, and my brother was in town, so I'm going to try to stream at least twice this week to make up for it. This hand has just a Hydroblast, but Brainstorm Thought Scour can kind of fix it. So many lands for a turbo, very few lands deck. We'll give it a try and hope we can Brainstorm Thought Scour them away without drawing too many others. There's an Epicure. Terror's not a bad draw. They'll swing for 1. We will take it. And they're going to plot a Highway Robbery. Let's go for a Brainstorm. 2 Hydroblasts and a Vapor Snag. That's pretty good. Okay. So I don't even have to mill. I don't necessarily need this Vapor Snag. I think we'll put that and an island back. Then we'll draw the island. 3 islands is probably plenty, though. Let's put the island and then the Vapor Snag. And we won't mill because I think it'd be nice to have up 2 Hydroblasts. We'll pass here. So what's the deal with this deck? It is Mono Blue Terror, but we have 14 lands and no Delvers. And in replacement of that, we have more counterspells like Dispel and more cantrips like Preordain. And we're just trying to go even faster than the usual speed. Hey, March, hope all is well. All is going great. I appreciate that. They are going to Flame Breather. We'll definitely counter that one. And they're going to swing with the Epicure. Probably just take it, and then we'll Thought Scour. Which hits Thought Scour and Island. We knew about the Island. That's 4 spells. So Terror, I could play a Terror. I'm not going to do that. Let's start with a Ponder. Counterspell, Terror. Yeah, that's all great. Lorien, Terror, Counterspell. So next turn, I'll be able to land 2 Terrors. This deck scratches a specific itch in the Timmy part of my brain. Yeah, it is definitely good for anybody who likes slamming giant creatures. No Brainstorms either. No. We have Brainstorms. We definitely are playing Brainstorm. Blood Token away a Snacker. You know, Gut Shot could kill those vampires. That's true. Hydroblast can also kill the vampires and not lose us 2 life. It's the decklist plugin showing the deck correctly. Only 48 cards. If it's only showing 48 cards, then no. Definitely not showing it correctly. Oh, yeah, it's not showing the Brainstorms. Interesting. I'll take a look at that. They have another Epicure. It's a little annoying. I know they have a Highway Robbery. I'm not going to counterspell. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to counter something anyway. Although I guess I could cycle the Lorien. No, I don't want to do that because then I lose my Terror. But next turn I get to play 2 Terrors and the Epicures become irrelevant, so I think we just let it go. You're basically playing color-shifted red. 2 life is in flavor. Exactly. You're right. All right. 48 card deck. I'm calling a judge. No, please don't. Don't call a judge. I think they only have 1 mana left. Have they played a land this turn? No. So I could hard cast a counter spell, but they could resolve something else. I know they can get the Snacker back anyway if they want with the blood tokens. We'll just Hydroblast this, because I figured they might have, yeah, something like that. Hydroblast again. So they can get in. But now I can play Double Terror, and we have another Lorien on top. So I'm not going to have Counterspell, but they only have 1 card. I don't actually care to draw a Lorien, though. So let's just cycle this first. Then Double Terror. Maybe I should just Single Terror, hold up the Counterspell. That might be a little bit better. Yeah, for something like that. I can just Vapor Snag it, so it's not the end of the world. And then I can Counterspell it, but would have been nice to just have the Counterspell. Ooh, Preordain's good. Another Preordain is kind of irrelevant. Lorien doesn't really matter. And I guess we'll bottom the Lorien, put the Preordain on top. Play that. We get a Hydroblast and another Preordain. Sure, we'll leave those both. Keep the Hydro. I think I just attack. We have such a fast clock. They can get us back for 3, but now with Hydro and Counterspell, I'm feeling pretty good. They Gutter Snipe again, and this time we'll counter it. Swing with just 1 Epicure. If we can find another Hydroblast, we can just win. Island, Thought Scour. We took out Sleep of the Dead, so the Thought Scour is pretty much irrelevant. Let's just bottom that. Perfect. So then we get to Cryptic Serpent, swing for 10. Still hold up Hydroblast. MTGO is the judge. It's also the jury and executioner. Shame that it still has that bug where you have about a 1 in 10 chance not to draw enough lands during your game. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Let's get rid of that Flame Breather. Need to get myself a mic stand. Current setup is scuffed AF. Any recommendations? Not specific. I mean, I can. We 2-0 them very nicely. I mean, I can mention what I got, but it's just because I had this mic. I mean, I basically just found something online. I think this mic is a Audio Technica. It was like $100 or something. The mic is same mic I've been using for a while, but now I got the stand, which this is the first time I'm streaming with it. So hopefully it sounds quite a bit better and louder. So yeah, I just got that mic, and then it was just a stand that went with it that clips onto my desk. I will say the stand is okay. It's not amazing. I might return it for a different one, so not going to specifically recommend this one. The Double Terror is cooler. I stand with you. I appreciate that. Hadn't noticed the new mic stand. It sounds great. Good. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, it's been in the last few videos. I just hadn't streamed with it yet. But yeah, who knows? Who knew that getting the mic a little closer to your mouth would sound quite a bit better? Noticeable sound improvement. I'm glad to hear. I'd basically just been lazy for a while and hadn't gotten one, but glad it's working now. Was better when you were holding the mic like a boxing announcer. Yeah, but I couldn't do that for an entire 4 or 5 hour stream. That was pretty funny though. In this corner, yeah, we'll keep this one. They have an Escape Tunnel. Could be a few different decks. Escape Tunnel could be Boros, Eidolons. That is a possibility. Could be Infect, Glistener Elf. Can't do anything about that right now. Brainstorm. We have a Dispel to counter one thing. I guess I want to find like a Sleep of the Dead to try to get rid of this. For a turn at least. I think I put back Mental Note, Island, and then I'm going to get rid of those in the upkeep. We get a Serpent, Island. Alright, well, all I got is Dispel, so hopefully that's going to keep us alive. Rancor. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the deck overview thing. Trying to figure it out. Closer mic equals better. Time to surgically implant a mic in Marsh. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the way to do it, it sounds like. Another Glistener Elf. Okay. I have 3 spells in our grave. This is going to be 4. Let's see if we can get 5, 6. And we get a Sleep. Okay. So I can actually just play 2 of these. Or I could probably play a Terror, sleep this, and then hold up a Dispel is the best thing to do. They didn't just kill us last turn, which is good, but I still want to be pretty cautious. So let's do that. Llanowar Augur. Cannot imagine ever hardcasting a Lorien in this matchup. So I'm just going to cycle it. With the Sleep of the Dead, we have a lot of ways, pretty much infinite ways to use our mana anyway. I could sleep again. I think I'm just going to preordain hold, play another Serpent, though. Thought Scour. Sure. We're going to pass here. They're going to crack the Augur on the Elf. And swing with both. I mean, this has got Trample, so it kind of feels like I should just double block that. Because it doesn't matter if I block here and block here. If this one's trampling, they can just get through for as much anyway. Although I guess the Rancor comes back, so maybe that's a reason to throw something here. Currently, it's blocking 1 damage either way. Sure, we'll do this. Go forth for +2. Okay, they still trade. We'd be taking 3. Go forth. Now they don't trade. We'd be taking 5, but that's not lethal. I kind of think they're trying to bait out a counterspell, and then they embiggen and will die, so I'm going to let that go. If they have embiggen and mutagenic growth would be lethal here. Because it'd be 12 to our 5, so it'd be 7 unblockable. So I have to dispel here, and then if they have any other +2, I'll lose. Double blocking here would have been exactly the same, though, I think. Because it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we'll counter that. See if they got the other spell. No? Okay, we're at 8. We draw an island. But I can sleep this guy, assuming they don't have a way to give it protection. Actually, wait. I should Thought Scour first. Because I could draw a Demon Fury or something. I could also just get a Dispel. Or we could get an island. Well, if the Sleep of the Dead goes off, we might be fine. Otherwise, we might have some trouble. Snakeskin Veil. Well, can't attack then. Hope they don't get away to pump. Yo, what's going on? Rancor is exactly lethal. Love Infect, wish it was more playable in Pauper. Yeah, it's definitely a little too susceptible usually, but we did just die to it. We get Annuls and Gut Shots. There's nothing stopping people from running tier 2 decks. Infect is a regular and not my LGS. I totally agree with that. I do think Infect is like a tier 3 or maybe even Fringe deck. Like it's a little lower than that, but no, it's still a deck that can get wins, just like many decks. Feels like super similar to Hot Dogs, which I would also play if it was more playable. Yeah, definitely it's just Hot Dogs in green. If we got some Vapor Snags or some counter spells, we could have been okay. I think we're just getting rid of some of the turbo part of the deck because we just have to survive. That's really it. So, Ponders, I think. Annul is not the best thing ever, but it counters Rancor and it counters Ichor Clawmere, which is 4 of their 12 Infect creatures. I think we have an okay matchup here. We could definitely lose, but hoping not. The Blasts can counter Blazing Shoal. You know, I wasn't thinking about that. Demon Inferior, only 1 land here. I think we have to mulligan this. We don't have enough interaction or reliable lands or anything. This looks very similar and quite a bit worse because no Thought Scours. We do have 2 lands, but 3 Serpents. I mean, I get rid of 1, but I kind of think this is not even good enough. We're going to go down to 5. All right, this one's a little better, I guess. I think I'm getting rid of an island and maybe the Terror, because Terror is not even very good right now, and these at least slow him down. We'll play island and pass. Thinking about building a battle box for a while. Your vid pushed me into building a 6-deck one. Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping. Mental note. Mill's a counterspell and a dispel, but we do get a Demon Inferior. Probably just going to cycle this Lorien. Heroic is probably the most playable please don't have removal deck. I would agree. Now they have a Glistener Elf. Okay. I can kill the Blight Mamba. Not really a reason to do it now with the Gut Shot. I can do it on my turn. Just in case that matters. Dispel. It could, actually. They could have a Mutagenic, and now my Dispel can work on that. Yep. And then I didn't draw an extra card, so this is 3 mana, right? Yes. So I probably just sleep this. I mean, it could just be lethal, so don't really want to deal with that. They have another Woodlot, another Lorien. Cycle that. And I think I could sleep. 1, 2, 3. We'd still have 5 spells in our grave. Or I could Demon Inferior, but I feel like they're going to have like a Snakeskin Veil, so I'd probably want the sleep to get countered instead. We're going to give this a try. Yep, there's the Snakeskin. Hoping they don't have +8. here. They have Might of Old Krosa ×2. All right, well, we do die. Unfortunate, but we just didn't really draw the right interaction, and they had fast starts. All right, I updated the... There's got to be something going on with Stream Decker, because I updated it with the same deck list, and now it's at 56 cards, but it still didn't put in Brainstorm. And now I'm searching for Brainstorm specifically in here, and it says that no results are found. So just imagine the deck list has some Brainstorms, because it does. All right, lot of Serpents, but we do have a Mental Note, which we're relying pretty heavily on, but hoping that works. 4-1 is in play, exactly. That's as soon as the 4-1's out of play, we are, dropping, obviously. Not really a reason to keep playing if we're not going to get a 4-1. Same reason why if I go 4-0 and then I'm almost going to win a trophy, I usually concede, because, we got to get that 4-1. Black Dragon Gate on green. I feel like that means Turbo Fog, which will be interesting. Ooh, Preordain's good. I did mill 2 spells, and then we found a Preordain into a Brainstorm. Brainstorm would put us to 5, which could let me play like a Terror next turn with a Dispel up. I think that's fine. All for 1 and 1 for all 4-1s. Beautiful. I love that quote from Three Musketeers. All right, we'll put back these Serpents. And yeah, we're just going to play a Terror. Maybe I should play the Serpent, because if I do use a Dispel, I can then double Terror. But obviously the Ward is the reason I want to get this guy out. Make it harder for them to remove, especially through a Dispel. Although if it is Fog, which is kind of what I'm anticipating, and they're not going to try to remove it as much as just Fog it. Swing for 5. And... all right, we'll play a Cryptic Serpent now and just pass. They're going to make a Treasure, it looks like. They have Crypt Rats. Can't counter that. If they have Toxin Analysis, I can dispel that, though. Which they do. They could have another, but then they don't have the mana to actually activate the Crypt Rats, so that's fine. They could have 5 black mana next turn, so they could just naturally wipe the board. But if they take 11 damage here, then they couldn't, because they would lose. So that's something. Vapor Snag's interesting. Don't think there's a reason to do that now. Well, I mean, it makes it so they can't wipe the board next turn, even if they wanted to. It means they can't chump block even if they wanted to. It's probably better to save in case they get another Toxin, though, right? I think we just attack. If they want to chump block, that's fine by me. They don't. So I could Terror, but we already have Lethal, so they're already going to have to start using Fogs. It could be good for if they get like a moment, or not a moment's piece, Weather the Storm off. But if they do get Crypt Rats through with a Toxin, it's pretty bad. Obviously, we'd have one way to counter that with a Vapor Snag, but I could have 2 with a counter spell. I don't think there's any reason to play any more spells, any more creatures right now. So we're just going to do this. On the off chance they have like 2 more Toxins in hand, and they like cast 1 and I try to Vapor Snag their guy, and then they do it in response. If I then didn't have Counterspell, it could be really bad. So it seems unlikely, but they have a tap land here. So that means they don't even have 5 black mana. Again, that would kill them, but in case they had some weird way to make it not. They're going to swing for 1. I mean, I don't think the 1 damage really matters. They're going to just Fog. I don't think 1 Counterspell is probably going to stop that. I mean, if it's a moment's piece, it literally won't, with just flashback and stuff. They're probably going to Tangle here if they have it, because it taps both our guys, in which case I am going to be forced to play another guy. But now I can still play a Terror and hold up Counterspell Vapor Snag, which is pretty good. There's the moment's piece. We'll just let it resolve. We'll play a Terror and pass. They're going to Fanatical Offering on the end step. I could counter, but it's our only counter spell. We're trying to save it for when we can use it on a Fog, and they won't have another one. Which is harder, obviously, if they draw more cards, but I just don't think I want to use my counterspell on that. Colony Garden. So the plant might be something I want to Vapor Snag. Just to get rid of a blocker here. Spell Bomb is fine. We have plenty of guys on the board already, so not my greatest concern. So I could Vapor Snag a plant or something here. They have 4 mana. If they go for a Moment's Peace, then I can counter that, and they have only 1 mana left, which could just be a Fog or a Darkness, so that it doesn't mean that they don't have it. Although most fogs that are more playable are 2 mana. I don't think there's really a reason to Vapor Snag here. I think we'll just let it go. Swing. I mean, if they flashback Moment's Peace, I am going to counterspell it, because if they don't have a 1 mana fog, we would win. But they have Respite. Again, 1 life for each attacking creature. So they have 2 mana left. So I counter this, and then they have another fog, a tangle, or something, which is worse. They do gain 3, which is a little annoying, because that would put them above a Serpent. I think we're going to counter it. I'm sure that they have another fog, seeing as they didn't use the Moment's Peace. Maybe not. I mean, now they're blocking. This is still lethal unless they have another way to gain life, though. Reckoner's Bargain. Yeah, I thought they might be playing that. I wasn't sure, so I could have Vapor Snagged the plant, I guess, to prevent this. Because they're going to go to 2. Even if I Vapor Snag the plant there, they would still be alive. Alright, we're going to pass. I felt like this deck would probably be playing... I mean, we saw Fanatical Offering and Eviscerator's Insight. I didn't really think it'd be playing Bargain, because other than Crypt Rats, what do they have to gain life off of? Maybe Wellspring, but that's only a couple. Someone did catch me a little bit by surprise. Obviously now they have the Moment's Peace, so they have at least 1 more turn. There's a Wellspring. Not worth playing out the other snake. I think we have plenty of damage on board. Obviously, if we had it before, maybe that would have changed things, because, like, you know, if... Maybe it would have been good to have it there. But at this point, I feel like we have plenty of damage on board. They're at 2. They would need to gain over 13, 14 life for it to be relevant to have another creature on board. And they could just get another Crypt Rats and have, like, wipe the board or something. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem necessary to play it out yet. If they do get a way to wipe the board, I want to have creatures in my hand is the big thing. Flashback Moment's Peace in response. Sure. In case I find a counterspell, obviously. Brainstorm and Lorien's actually good, because I think I want to get rid of the cards in our hand. Demon Fury is pretty bad, and honestly, getting rid of the Serpent for, like, more counter magic or something could be okay. Although we know there's a land there, but there's no reason to attack. I can do all that at instant speed and have more info, so I think we're just going to pass here. They're going to bargain the Wellspring, gain 2. They have a Basilisk Gate and a Lembas. And another. I mean, that is some more life. That puts them, if they cracked all of those, to 10. Still obviously have enough damage, but there might become a point where playing the Serpent is best. I could also just hardcast this Lorien Revealed. Campfire. They only have 3 mana left. Oh, wait, what else are they doing? Oh, Weather the Storm, sure, because it's big. Okay. Hey, look, they did gain enough life, which I wasn't saying was impossible. It was just, you know, they needed to have the right cards. So now they can go up to 18 with this Campfire, which means they're not dead this turn because I didn't play the Serpent. So that definitely... It could have been right to play the Serpent. I'm not saying it's not. I think it was still okay to maybe hold it, but potentially that was a misplay. Let's see. So I could Brainstorm on the end step here. I kind of want to just cast the Lorien at this point, I think. We'll be tapping out, but we also hit them low enough that, like, they can't Crypt Rats and, like, wipe the board again. We won't quite be tapping out because we're going to get an island, which means I have a Vapor Snag in case they get a Toxin. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll cast Lorien. Deprive is good. I don't have it up this turn. We'll leave up our Vapor Snag. When you're this close to lethal against a control deck, you want to just have enough threats. Enough of a threat that they have to answer it, but nothing more. Yeah, generally that's true. Again, in this situation, based on how they played, maybe it would have been better, but it also could be results-oriented thinking. We might have made the right play, and then just based on what happened, it could have been better to do the other thing. But yeah, in a deck that has board wipes, you don't want to have more creatures than you have to, and you want to have creatures that can refill the board if they do end up wiping it. So they had an okay turn last turn, drawing some cards and then gaining 12 life, but the fact that we were able to just hit them for 16 means that it doesn't give them more than 1 turn of, you know, saving themselves or whatever, saving grace. They do another Lembas. Feels like they're going to do another Moment's Peace. Otherwise, they just need another Fog, but then I can just counter it and I can kill them. No, they did not find a Fog, or I don't even know if a Moment's Peace would have saved them, because if I think they only played 3 spells, which would have put them to 14, and I have lethal, so... All right, we won that one. A Null, I think, is the only thing that's going to be helpful, but they do have quite a few artifacts that are decent to counter. I mean, I guess Gutshot gets rid of the Crypt Rats in response to a Toxin, which actually might be better than, like, Vapor Snag or something. I don't know. Demon Fury doesn't seem necessary. Certainly not Sleep of the Dead. I don't think Vapor Snag feels good enough. and maybe just 2 gut shots, because it's not amazing, but in a specific situation it could be really good. I don't want to get rid of any counter spells or cantrips though, so yeah, let's try that. But the gut shot allows me to tap out for some terrors or serpents and still have a way to not die to a Crypt Rats with Death Touch. Yeah, this one's good enough. Some lands, some cantrips, creature, counterspell. 4 things you want to have. They have a gate. Mental Note is good, just so we can brainstorm and clear it if we want. Rot Farm bounces the gate. I think we're just going to cycle a Lorien here. We already have Mental Note to clear the brainstorm, and I don't want to brainstorm here and then have to Mental Note and then not hold up Counterspell, which we might want. So yeah. They have a Wellspring. I'm going to brainstorm, because if we find it in a null, I'm happy to use it on this. And if not, then that's fine. All right, 1, 2. Mental Note's going to put us to 5 spells, so I can get a Terror down next turn and hold up a Dispel. Or I could get down 2 Terrors. And they probably shouldn't be able to wipe our board yet, as long as I mill 2 spells. So I might just want to put back Lorien and Counterspell, and then we Mental Note. Yeah, a little weird. I'm going to be milling a Counterspell, but we are Turbo Terror, so I kind of want to do that. Then they play Manor Gate. Mental Note. We draw Thought Scour. All right, and I could have put away the Preordain, but I needed another 1 mana spell to make sure I can do 2 tears this turn. Oh, they did. This is on red. That's probably just Pyroblasts, I would assume. So I think getting these down is still the best thing to do. Preordain, there's another terror. We'll keep that. Although I guess now I just want counter magic. All right, I'm hoping that we don't get punished for putting out 2 terrors this quickly, but I think there's not really a way we can, unless they have like a Simian Spirit Guide or something, and then they can not Krark. I guess they could be playing Krark. Maybe that's what the red's for. I guess if they have Krark Death Touch, then I could be in trouble. But 14 Islands is a boss move. Excited to see how this plays. Yeah, it is all by Illuminati. He's been doing this list and won a challenge and got top 8 and 2 others over the weekend with 14 Islands, which is crazy. So it's playing pretty well so far. I'm kind of liking it. It is for Pyroblast. So, hey, if they want to spend their turn killing 1 terror and then next turn I can play another with counter magic and hit him for 5, I'm okay with that. Deck list seems to be fixed. Perfect. Glad to hear. And a Serpent. All right. I kind of think we just put down Terror and Serpent then, because I still have Dispel. And this presents lethal this turn. Whereas if I only put 1, they could dirtle for another turn. This forces them to start having Fogs or maybe a Pyroblast on the Serpent or something right away. In fact, with the Dispel, it forces them to have 2 Fogs, or I could just win. They play a Wellspring. Campfire. Oh, Campfire can put them to 17 and we only deal 16. So if I find a gut shot, I could kill them. But that's fine. Still, if I put them to 1, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's start with a Preordain and see if I find more counter magic or that gut shot, which I would keep legitimately here. I'll keep 1 of these. So if I attack and they go for a 2 mana Fog, then I can Dispel and I should be able to just win. If they have a 1 mana Fog, or they might also have a Pyro, I guess. They have a Tangle. All right, well, that means they're not using the Campfire, and I think I just win. 16 damage to them. They could have played it carefully with the Campfire, but they would have still taken so much damage. It might have been the right call, but I understand them wanting to go for the Tangle. But we win that one. Vapor Snag does it too. Yeah, we had just sided them out, but otherwise it would have done it. I thought about that, but I figured the gut shot was pretty much the same thing, and actually got rid of a Crypt Rats fully, and also was 0 mana. But yeah, if we put him to 1 and we were able to kill him with the gut shot, that would have been a way sicker story for sure. But I guess we'll just take the win. Virtually the same for sure. Yeah, exactly. All right, against Uber Legend, who usually plays what's it called? It's a deck that I play, Pestilence. At least as far as I know. So that could be interesting. More green-black control. Good counter magic and cantrips. We don't have the creatures, but hopefully we'll find them. Yeah, looks like that is what we're up against. Pass. How's Ornament been in your experience post-unban? Is it creeping into a bunch of lists or just sticking to big mana decks? I've been trying it in a few lists for sure, and seen some other people doing the same. I can't say I've seen it be that impactful. We mail Counterspell Sleep. That's pretty good. Yeah, hasn't been super impactful. The only deck the deck that I played it in that I liked the most was probably Dimir Fairies as a one of was actually not bad because that's just already a deck you're holding up so much mana for counter spells and things. I probably don't need to counter that. So that's the one I've enjoyed it in the most. It seems interesting in like a Monsters or Panza, but I'm not sure it's very good. Brainstorm. There's some creatures. So we're going to mill, I think, just 2 Lorians here with a Thought Scour. Yeah. And so I have Counterspell, so I can play a Terror and hold up Dispel and Counterspell. Or I could just play a Serpent and have a Dispel, but I probably just want to make him use hit Ward first, I suppose. What platform is this? Yeah, we're on MTGO. The best way to play Magic online if you want to be looking at a program that looks like it was made in 1995, but also the only way to play Pauper online. So some of us are forced to. It's our cross to bear. Well, we got to start getting rid of these cats, so we'll swing for 5. Watched the Demir Faye vid this morning. Thought it was an excellent one of there. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm trying it out because it's obviously new and people like to see new stuff. But I wasn't necessarily convinced it would be any good, and I actually kind of liked it there. So we'll see if I keep trying it out. But it seemed interesting. Fanatical Offering. I could Dispel. I feel like I'm supposed to keep counter spells and stuff for my own creatures to survive. If I could Dispel and hold up Counterspell, I probably would. But for now, I think we'll let it go. Nutrient Block is fine too. Pachuca Bog's pretty good. And I'm not going to tap out for Lorien Revealed anytime soon. They bring back Cauldron Familiar. Got to upload your deck list with punch cards. I'm not sure I understand. I'm sure I'm missing something there. Let's just Thought Scour, see if I get like a Preordain I can use now. Island, Mental Note to fill our grave again. Sure. Should be a YouTube video out there. Are you able to test decks against AI? There is not really a computer to play against on MTGO. You can play against like yourself to like get used to the client and stuff like that. But yeah, there's not like a whatever it is you play against, Spark or whatever on Arena, unfortunately, because I do like that feature on Arena. Don't make me feel old for loving the 90s aesthetic, March. I mean, it's it's a choice that they've chosen to keep it that way. Spell Bomb. I have 2 creatures on the board already. I don't think I really need to worry about the Spell Bomb. Although I guess there's no reason to Mental Note, because then that just gives them more value from the Spell Bomb. I'll swing here. Maybe they'd add Pauper to Arena after they print Pauper Masters and Downshift Grief. Yes, all of that, which I'm pretty sure is happening by the end of the year, will definitely be taking place. Old computer joke, gotcha, yeah. As a physics major, I appreciate the punch card reference. As an English major, can't say I got it, but that's okay. I feel like they're probably just going to Spell Bomb here, so probably not a reason to like Preordain or anything. I could get down another creature, maybe, which would make a Pestilence worse. Maybe, yeah, I could find a Terror and play that. Vapor Snag is super unnecessary, but I'm not going to get rid of a Counterspell anytime soon. All right, if they want to blow up that and get an extra Preordain, that's fine, which they do. As a music major, what's a physics? Exactly. If they do that, maybe that's the end of MTGO. If they add Pauper to Arena, I doubt it. MTGO is, there's a lot of other things that people play on MTGO. They're really trying to kill this. It is unfortunate that they're trying to kill this one, and I'm using counterspells to keep it alive, as opposed to them having to pay Ward for the Terror. Do I counter a Fanatical Offering? Then I get to Lorien Revealed next turn, but then if they land like a Pestilence, I might be just doomed. I think I gotta let that go. Like pre-modern, no. I mean, MTGO is like, it's certainly less popular than Arena, but like people even play Standard and Modern and just any format you can think of on MTGO. So I don't know. I don't think it would die from just adding even all of its formats to Arena. I think it'd probably be fine. Okay, I could be a little risky and slam down a Lorien, and if I get Nyland, I can hold up Counterspell. If they resolve a Pestilence, I probably lose, which means I probably shouldn't, so I'm going to play a Mental Note. Cryptic Serpent is pricey. I guess that means I should cycle this Lorien to make it so I can play the other Lorien next turn with Counterspell up still. I don't know. There's another Offering. There's a Culinary Major. Y'all can read? Another cast down. I think I got to let that one go. I could play a serpent or another serpent. They have a campfire, and it's definitely a tough situation here. MTGO has Legacy and Vintage. Pauper also a much more complete card base. Yes, for sure. All right, we're going to Lorien. Yeah, we didn't hit a land. We do have 1, 2, 3 spells in our grave. So next turn, maybe I can get some of these other creatures down. I mean, we might be okay. They're kind of running out of cards, and they've taken some damage, but they have a lot of card draw there. We're going to pass. I honestly don't think they can port Pauper to Arena. Same reason they won't see that we won't see Legacy, I think. I mean, I think they could. I don't think it would be as popular as other formats, and Pauper is a very competitive format, and Arena is a totally fine platform, but it's just not as good for super competitive formats. We're definitely going to counter this. Bouncing a land is probably not a big deal because I currently don't have a land to play. So I think we do that. They could play a land and slam another one. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So I guess a Demon Inferior would get rid of it. Otherwise, Pestilence is pretty bad. We'll Brainstorm. There's a Demon Inferior. Okay. Put back 2 islands. We'll swing for 5 here while they think they are going to still have Pestilence. See if that changes what they want to do. They're going to crack a food for a familiar. So let's see. We're going to Mental Note to get rid of those islands and try to draw more counter magic. Another Demon Inferior. Deem the Pestilence for sure. Choose second from the top. And I think we play... Let's Ponder and then Terror. I want to hold up Counterspell. I wanted to get a second one. Preordain another Terror. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, we can play a second Terror, hold up Counterspell. I mean, the main bad thing is if they find like another Pestilence so they can get another one through a Counterspell. I do have a Demon Inferior again, but still. They start with a Wellspring to draw their Pestilence. There's a Campfire. Those are pretty good too. Eviscerator's Insight. First Fog and now Food Pest. You're getting all the most fun and exciting matchups. Yes, I'm glad this is happening right in a row and on stream where I'm sure everyone's loving it. They play a Tithing Blade. I could counter that, and then they could, if they have an untapped land, which I assume they do, they could land a Pestilence, which I can Demon Inferior again, although there's no guarantee I can counter that one. I have more creatures. I think I just let it go. They already do Pauper events from time to time on Arena. You can basically play Blue-Black Terror with Daze, Grixis Affinity, Pactile Gardens, Kuldotha, White Weenie, and even Empty the Warren Storm. Almost as they would in Paper Pauper. You only need a few more meta cards to have the entire thing. Interesting. Let's Preordain. Get rid of Island. Keep Brainstorm. We'll swing. Brainstorm. Vapor Snag we don't need. Deem could be good. I guess we're going to play both of our creatures here then. I guess we don't need Demon Fury this turn. Terror. Serpent. Yeah, I think we want to just put a bunch of stuff on the field now. We'll Preordain because we have the mana. Might as well. I don't want to draw the Vapor Snag. I do want the Demon Inferior. Maybe that's not even that good, but Campfire. I would play Gardens if I wanted to win leagues, but damn, do I dislike the Dirtle, both playing and receiving. Yeah, I understand. I play a little bit, but sometimes it gets to be too much for me. At least you're playing a deck that knows how to win. Just went to a tournament where we spent 20 minutes just in turns. Grapple with Death. Destroy a creature or artifact, you gain a life. Sure. Turns ready for the Golgari Pest Mirror to wrap up. Yeah, that is not fun. Another Bojuka Bog. Pretty annoying. I mean, mostly not that big of a deal at this point, but whatever. Another counterspell is decent. Swing for 10. Never liked how they've done format approximations on Arena by just adding meta cards, but I personally enjoy bringing the format. Yeah, it's a little weird. They're going to sack the Cauldron Familiar. Take 5. We'll pass. Gain some life. There's a Wellspring. There's a Troll of Khazad-dûm. I can deem that inferior, so I don't think I want to spend a counterspell on it. Of course, then I'll have to potentially counter it again, but that's fine. Start with a Ponder. Another Serpent. Mental Note. Demon Inferior on the Troll. Oh, if I Serpent, I can't double counterspell. Demon Inferior is so expensive. So I really want to slam this and then have double counter magic. But I can't. I think I just want to play it anyway. They play a Troll, and I don't care. And then I save it for a Pestilence. Oh, right. We have a graveyard that's not very full. Never mind. I can't even do it. Doesn't matter. Demon Fury in this economy? Yeah. Illuminati still plays it. Even in this list, it's a 2 of instead of the usual 4 of in his lists. But can't say I'm that big of a fan. But then again, it got rid of a Pestilence when nothing else would have. So, you know, I guess it's fine. Time Ebb. Yeah, that's what I should be playing. Time Ebb. All right, we are going to counter the Troll then, since I wasn't able to resolve the Serpent. There's a Spell Bomb. We get a Mental Note. I'm just going to cast it. Yeah, we're pretty close to milling out, but I don't actually think that's going to happen. Ooh, and then we get a Sleep of the Dead. Although, there's a Spell Bomb, but what are you going to do? Well, I should probably play the Serpent before I go to combat, because then they could crack it in the combat phase, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring back Cauldron Familiar. I found Deem to be the most underrated card in the deck. Used to be a huge hater. Now I'll stand for it all day long. It's one of those cards that I probably just don't understand. Like, it looks simple enough, but it's like, I do still hate it. I understand it's the only card that does what it does, basically. Boomerang just bounces it back to hand, and this gets rid of it for a couple turns. Not to mention you can combo it with Thought Scour, but it's just always so expensive for me. If you want a Demon Fury at great prices, remember to use this stream to sponsor Card Market. Sell out, exactly. Technically, Card Market doesn't sponsor the streams, but they do sponsor the videos, and this is going to be a video, so, but you're exactly right. If you're in Europe, go ahead and check them out. We'll counter the Pestilence. There's obviously another Pestilence. They can wipe the board, and then we're going to die. So I think we probably just concede. Still maintain the Demon Fury is inferior to Boomerang. Yeah, that's kind of... I like the Vapor Snag, but if you want something that can get any... There's the Vapor Snag. If you want something that can get any permanent, I kind of like Boomerang a little better. Pestilence. I can bounce our own creature, but it doesn't matter because they could even activate it again. All right, we're dead. Super powerful when combined with Brainstorm and Thought Scour. Yeah, if you Brainstorm, you reduce it essentially to a 2-drop, right? Because you still had to pay the Brainstorm cost. So, you can never play it for 1. But you can do it for 2. But if you're not Brainstorming and you're just using other cantrips, it's always a minimum of 3 mana to play the Demon Fury, which is what I don't love. But yeah, it seems great as long as you have exactly Brainstorm. Right. Hello, first time to get to watch you live. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. We don't need Sleep and we don't need Vapor Snag. Demon Fury is going to stay in because it's decent here, and we get a bunch of annuls, which is nice. I'm really bad at remembering that we have these, but we got some emotes, so there's a wave. Look at that. For anybody new coming in. No lands. I think we're going to get rid of that one. This one, though, this looks incredible. Snapkeep. No, I'm joking. All right. Well, this deck's trash. Look at this. Oh my god. 5 0-landers in a row. Literally 5 0-landers. It's only 14 lands, I understand. You think we can do this on 2 cards? Let's keep. Opponent says, why do you even pay for MTGO Premium if it's going to do this? Honestly. I mean, is there a reason to play this game? Probably not. I think our best bet is Island and Preordain. The Omulta 2. I mean, realistically, we probably should have kept like a 3 or a 4 with no spells and just hoped for the best. But I don't think we're going to waste our time. I can't imagine we're going to be able to win that one, unfortunately. Do it, Mars? No, I preordained it. I immediately was like, what am I looking for? Oh, right. Lands and spells, counter spells, but I also want creatures. Oh, but I also want cantrips. Oh, but don't forget the lands because we only have one. No. It's not going to happen. This is what happens to me when I play 4 Petal and a 14 land burn deck. I mean, this is obviously the concern of playing 14 lands. I'm not saying it's not. That's the first time that's happened. Anything close to that's happened. But this is also the first league we're playing it, so... it's okay. We get to blame all of this on Illuminati. This deck's obviously trash, and there's no way it would make top 8, let alone win a challenge. 4-1 lost. Oh, you're right. We should just concede the whole thing because we can't get a 4-1. Pretend to be fams. They'll never know. Anything with a land on 5 should be a keep. We didn't have a land on 5. We had no lands for 5 turns. All right, we'll just start with a ponder. Try to hit that land drop. Nope. Well, we're gonna shuffle. All right, we also have a preordained next turn and a brainstorm, so hopefully we can find a next turn. 3-2 is the poor man's 4-1, which is the poor man's 5-0. So we're basically undefeated. You know, I'm loving your logic there. Okay, mono red, rally. Preordain lets us see 3 cards and doesn't brainstorm lock us if we get very unlucky, so we're going to do that. We are getting pretty unlucky again. This deck just totally changed. It was so good the first 3 matches. I mean, we lost against Infect, but like it still was solid. And then suddenly, where did all our lands go? Some decks just work on specific hands. Yeah, that's true. There's an Epicure. 3-2, the Destitute Man's 5-0. We got to get that in writing somewhere. I mean, they have a pretty slow start. Tomb Raider that didn't attack turn 1 into an Epicure and nothing else. We have a pretty bad start too, though. I guess Ponder is our best bet. Let's see if we can find one island. Still no. There's a Lorien. I don't think that's even good enough, though. What is happening? We're going to any order and shuffle. Perfect. See, what you don't understand is this is actually the plan, because we're filling our graveyard even faster by discarding to hand size. 2-3 is the equivalent of several bankruptcies, so hopefully we dodge that. Yeah. It's not looking great right now. And there's a rally, so that's 5 damage. Oh, we're still at 9. We'll probably be fine. It's not like you're running an obscenely low number of lands. Yeah, here's the thing. There's no, like, you should play this deck because there's no downside to running very few lands. That's the cool part about this deck. Okay, we got an island. Chapter 7 or 11. I could just Vapor Snag a human and hold up a Dispel, I guess. Sure. Do you think Serpentine Curve is a card in Pauper or unplayable? Or should I say, how bad is it from pretty bad to unplayable? I think it's a card that you need specific... Generally, you need to build around it specifically. So there are some times people will play like a Serpentine Curve deck. They're not the best. I would say tier 2.5 to 3 probably. But you can do it, like, and I've lost to those decks before. Usually it's Is It or Dimir, and uses kind of combo-y because it's just a whole bunch of ways to mill and fill your graveyard. Serpentine Curve and either Fling or Rite of Consumption, which is basically Fling. Not that you have to build it exactly like that, but those are the ways that I've seen it done. We'll brainstorm. So no, as far as how bad it is, I would say it's okay. You know, in the right deck, it could be decent. No lands here. I was hoping to be able to play Double Terror, but I forgot we only put 2 lands in our deck. All right, let's see if we can recover in the next games with some blasts. Yeah, if you want to play Serpentine Curve, there are decks out there that are decent. You could definitely get some wins off of, so I don't think they're too bad. Sleep is not that great. Dispel's not that great. Vapor Snag is also really not that great. Dispel's probably fine. Probably need some land grants. Dude, that is what the deck's missing. And there's spells, too. That'd be so good, actually. I've seen people do a green-blue terror deck before for, like, punch spells, which is really interesting. I don't know if those decks had land grants, though. That would be actually really interesting. Now, land granting, showing your opponent your hand when you're a deck full of counter spells, not usually the best strategy, but kind of interesting. Luminati is just so good with mono blue. He doesn't even need lands. Exactly. He's built up all of the blue mana in himself, in his bones. He doesn't even need it. We'll just pass here. Is this 5-land terror? Yes, exactly. 5-land terror, but we don't have 30 ways to search for our lands. We just have a bunch of cantrips. Well, they have a Tormod's Crypt. Nothing else here. I'm still going to just Thought Scour. If they want to blow it up at some point, that's fine. We mill a Lorien and an island. And 1 Blue Blast on 2 is probably going to be fine. So I'll Ponder here. Still only 3 spells in our grave. Brainstorm, we do have a Lorien plus a Cryptic Serpent, which we can maybe get out. Yeah, I guess it's okay. We'll keep that. Like, part of me wants to just find a bunch of counter spells first and then find creatures later, especially with this Tormod's on the field, but Brainstorm can be good anyway. I don't know. Yeah, Burning Tree, we're just going to counter to stop them in their tracks here. And that is 4 spells. So actually, if they just let us go to our turn, I might just slam the Cryptic Serpent. If they pop the Crypt, that's also fine. Technically, the latest they should do is they should do it in our draw step. Because if I wanted to Thought Scour myself, my guys, the stuff off the top of my deck, I would do it in my upkeep. They didn't do it, so I'm going to do the Serpent. Serpent's a little bad because they could just Red Blast it, seeing as it doesn't have Ward. But I think it's worth it because our hand wasn't great either way. We don't have Counter Magic, although I could maybe find it. And putting any more spells in our grave is going to incentivize them to Tormod Script. I don't know, so I think it's fine. I mean, if they have Red Blast into Burning Tree Rally, like, it's pretty bad, but what are you going to do? There's the Burning Tree. They did have the Rally as well. Looks like they're deciding if they want to Pyro it before blocks. They decide not to, which, I mean, the attack in general tells me they probably have a Lightning Bolt or a Galv Blast. If I block Burning Tree and they have either one, they can kill the Serpent. If I block Human Soldier and they don't have a Galv Blast and it's just a Lightning Bolt, then we actually get to keep it. But if they do have it, then we don't kill quite as good of a creature. I think it's maybe worth the chance. And if they do use something like a bolt, then at least they've tapped out and we get to do stuff without worrying about Pyroblast. Surely they have Galv Blast. Probably, here's the thing. I think that a Human Soldier is expendable enough that they would make this attack if they only have a Lightning Bolt, hoping that I block the Emissary. Whereas the Emissary is good enough that they would want a bolt, but if they have it, they're going to have it every turn anyway. They do have the Galv Blast. Look, that's, I think, a fine trade. Obviously, it would have been better to do the Emissary, but like I said, they're going to have it every turn anyway. I don't want to not block. Maybe it was right to block the Emissary, but I kind of like doing this. And then they crack the Tormod Script. Half of a card. Still -4 damage to the face. Yeah, exactly. Let's go with a Brainstorm. Counterspell's good. We can Mental Note. I think we put these two back. Play an island and just pass. Tomb Raider is a 2/2. Don't love countering that. I think I will. I think most other things they could cast are not that much better. Like a Bushwhacker would be a little more damage this turn, but lower damage in general. If they do like a Ren's Resolve and get a couple good cards, that would be like the worst thing. But yeah, honestly, Bushwhacker is 4 damage instead of 2 damage now, but then it's 1 damage less every turn. Which is in 2 turns is worse. So I don't know. I think this is fine. Mental Note, Mills, Lorien Island. We do get a Dispel, which is okay. Although we need to get a creature to deal with what's on board right now. Island. Let's preordain. Just a Lorien and an island. I could keep a Lorien, but we just don't have time to cast that. So I think we're going to just put these both on the bottom. We do find a Terror. So I can play Terror. I might as well play Thought Scour as well, just to see what else we get here. Brainstorm. We milled 2 Thought Scours as well. All right. We'll play this and we'll pass. Percussionist. You get to swing for 3. I get to block the Emissary. And yeah, I mean, even if they had a Pyroblast, they can't get through Ward here. Or a Bolt or something. We haven't seen a single Hydroblast. We'll go for a Brainstorm. There we go. I'll put back these 2. Yeah, we can ponder next turn. Probably should just hold back. And then if they attack, I can, like, maybe pick off some creatures. I don't know if I even want to do that. With these, we'll see. Going to 5. I mean, I want to block this because I can't Hydroblast it or anything. Yeah, I kind of only want to take 1 damage here. So we're going to kill the Bushwhacker. Leave the Percussionist, obviously. They got nothing. Ponder. All right. We got a Counterspell. We'll keep that. I think I might want to attack now. We're trading 5 for 1, which is obviously a great rate. We have 3 Counterspells, and I don't necessarily want to block this anyway. Now, they might then leave it back to block, but that's fine. So yeah, we're definitely going to swing here. They're just going to pass. We're going to Ponder. Blue Elemental Blast. Yeah, we'll put Island, Preordain, Blast. So, obviously I could just attack and they chump block. That gives them 1 extra turn. I could just blast their Percussionist, in which case I have them on a 3-turn clock, including this one. But then, of course, I'm using a counter/kill spell on something. I don't think that's worth it. I think we'll just attack. I know they're going to chump, but we did end up getting a good amount of counter magic. There's a Bolt. Simic Terror with Land Grant and Growth Spiral cards. I'm not sure Growth Spiral is what you would want, just because, like, Terror, you don't really need to go big in mana, because you just have, you know, they get cost reduced. I I mean, Growth Spiral is not bad, and it's 2 mana cantrip, so like maybe that would be okay. But it feels like maybe you don't need that, and there's something better. Not the one exactly. The other ones where you draw more. Yeah, I guess those could be better. Potentially. I guess, yeah, if you are going green, maybe the whole idea of that is like to go more big with Terror. Preordain, Island, Preordain. I guess I just keep... I already have enough counter magic. I probably just keep them both, and I'll play the Island this turn, which means that I can actually Preordain into something else I can also cast next turn. I think they're instants too. Yes, most of them are. The Eureka Moment, the 2 draw 2/1, and then the new Embrace the Paradox is 3 or is instant as well. I've seen Malevolent Rumble lists before, but there's just not enough permanents. Yeah, Rumble is such a good card, but it just is like the antithesis to this deck, unfortunately. There's a Bushwhacker. It's just a 2/1, but it is also a blocker. I mean, I can kill it with one of these, but I'd probably just throw out a counterspell on it. And we can Preordain, see if we can find like a third counterspell, which we do. We actually have the mana to Brainstorm as well, so might as well Brainstorm and counter. Swing for 5. All right, and now we just need to stave off death and chump blockers for one more turn. There's a Bolt. We'll Brainstorm. Nice. We'll counterspell. They only have 3 cards, so I don't think there's a reason to not just like counter everything they cast, because I have 3 counterspells, even if that one doesn't kill us. I assume they had like one more Bolt, and if I counter either of them, they die. All right, well, we got that one. It was a little risky, or it was looking a little rough at the beginning, but we ended up getting there. All right, we got a 1-lander with some mental notes, which are cantrips, but they're not selection cantrips. It's just draw 1. We are on the draw, but we do have a blue blast. Ugh, I think this is not quite good enough. I mean, I guess we have to get really unlucky, because if we draw islands, we're good. But also, if we mill a bunch of spells, maybe we're okay. Depends on how fast they are. They did keep a 7, though. With as hard as it is, most matchups to even hardcast Lorien, I can't see running Embrace the Paradox as a Lorien that you can't cycle for a land. Yeah, that's generally... Why not both? Generally what I was thinking, but again, if you're going for a green version and you're trying to be a little bit bigger in mana, maybe it could be interesting. I can feel the mulligan into 3 no-landers. Yeah, that's also my concern. I think we'll just keep it. I think this hand is okay. We are on the draw. We have some extra redraws. I think we keep. They do have a pretty good start. Pretty much the best start they can have. Ooh, with Tormod's Crypt, it really is the best start. Easy keep for me. It was a keep, but it was not an easy one. I don't think this is great, and I think we could get steamrolled very quickly here. Another Tomb Raider. I probably will just blast one of them. They don't have another land, potentially, but I cannot afford to take 4 every turn. So we're going to blast that. Plus the Tormod's Crypt makes it so that I can't even terror quick enough. 2 cantrips, 2 terrors, a blue blast, not going to find a better 1-lander. I don't want to find a better 1-lander. I want to find a 2-lander. But also I would very much argue that you could find a better 2-lander because, again, these are not selection cantrips. If I cast a Thought Scour, I have 1 shot to find an island, whereas now I find a Preordain, which is really good here. I have 3 shots to find an island, which I might not. Hydroblast, Terror. I would love a Hydroblast, but I absolutely need lands, so we're going to put these on the bottom. But yeah, I don't think this is why this is not a snap keep by any means. Opponent also on 1 land. Yes, although their 2/2s with haste are 1 mana, and my terrors are currently 5 mana, so them having the best start ever doesn't help. They had the best turn 1, but their turn 2 was just okay with another Tomb Raider. But I agree. But we know we're playing against Red Rally, and they're a deck that kind of tries to high roll, so I think we have to factor that into our decision to keep a hand. And we know we're playing 14 lands as well, which makes it much harder to find lands, obviously, as we can see. Yeah, I'll keep those both. We find an island. We don't have a Hydro, so yeah, we just got to pass here. I mean, if they don't have any more creatures and it's just 3 damage, maybe we're okay. If they, like, Ren's Resolve, okay. I was going to say if they Bushwhacker this turn, it's pretty bad. Rally and Bushwhacker, unless they have Mountain and then another land next turn, they can't do both next turn, which is something. But I'm taking 3 this turn, and then if I want to counterspell a Bushwhacker or whatever, I'm taking another 3 next turn. Excuse me. We'll take 3. We have a Lorien on top, but unfortunately I think we have to cast something here. And if it's a Brainstorm, it's not really quite what we need. They do just let us cast a Terror here. I mean, if I want a Thought Scour, and play 2 terrors, but if they are smart enough to crack the Tormod script in response, then I don't even get 1 down, so I have to just play it safe and play a terror here for 2. If they have a Pyroblast, we're pretty much wrecked, but yeah, now they crack the Tormod script. I think they shouldn't have let us get 1 down, because we could be okay. I mean, if they have a Mountain and Rally, Bushwhacker, I guess we take 8, so we're pretty close to dead. If they don't have a land, then they can only do one or the other, which is not too bad for us. I wish we had a Hydroblast. Unfortunately, we definitely had to use the first one on the Tomb Raider, and I could not afford to keep the other one we saw with the Preordain. Just was not happening. They do rally. Okay, no land is nice. They definitely attack here. We will block the Tomb Raider. I guess they just play the Bushwhacker as a 1/1 probably. Yeah, so I could Brainstorm, but I feel like I need to, like, high roll with a Thought Scour, mill 2 spells, draw an island, Thought Scour, play another terror, and hold up a counterspell. That's kind of what I need to do. Whereas if I Brainstorm, I could set up the top of my deck, but then if I Thought Scour, I'm not going to be able to terror and counterspell. If you draw Land Grant, you'll have Weather the Storm mana open. Ooh, that's a good point. I could Brainstorm for that. Ben agrees. No, we got a Thought Scour, 2 islands. We do get a Hydroblast. 2 islands is not great. If I get another Hydroblast, or I guess just Counterspell is okay. All right, we got a Cycle Lorien and then hold up Hydro Counterspell, I think. So I can block Hydro 1/1. We take 2, and I have a Counterspell for something else. That's like the best we got, I think. They have a Rally. We're going to counter. They're going to swing. I could take 3, and if they have a Galvanic Blast, we'll die. Or rather, I would have to Hydro it. But they also just have a bunch of 1/1s. I think we got to kill a 1/1 again here. Then we take 2. We got a 5. They have the Galvanic Blast. So if I had saved it for the Galvanic, we could be at, 4 instead. And they have a Tormod script, which honestly might be okay. Actually, no, we're at 1. We needed to get a creature down for this. So I have to find a Hydroblast for this pretty much. I was like, the Tormod not being a bolt is fine, but it's kind of bad. Deprive. Yeah, I have to find a way to get rid of this or a creature, but creature is going to be too expensive probably. The spell doesn't do it. Deprive is too pricey. Thought Scour. We do find a Blue Blast. Of course, we don't also have Counterspell, which means we just die to anything anyway. But that's really all we got. I mean, I'll Ponder here. Might as well because I have the mana open. Island, Hydro. I can't get another Island and a Hydro, unfortunately. So, I guess. Oh, it's so close. Because I can get an Island. We have 5 spells in our grave, so I can Blue Blast this and then play a Terror. But we're just fully open and dead to anything that they get. However, if I'm gonna have to Blue Blast this at some point, and then I don't have any more counter magic, assuming they attack, which I don't know why they wouldn't, which means I might as well get down a Terror, and I can then even attack. All right. Obviously, there's like a 90% chance we die here. 95, 99. But we might as well do this now, because if they whiff on everything and just draw a bunch of mountains, this is actually our best bet. And I could play around a haste creature, but I just really think I need to start attacking. Again, we're trying to high roll. They need to have like nothing. But I wish that I could have played the Terror to have 2 blockers and then also held up Blue Blast, but just attacking makes you dead to any haste creature. Yeah, I just said that. But we were so close to dead to any lightning bolt anyway. I think attacking was the right call, because we were so close to dying that every single turn they drew, they could have potentially drawn a win con, which meant that we needed to reduce the amount of likelihood that they would have more turns, which meant we needed to attack. So I think it was right to attack. We died to a lightning bolt, so it didn't matter either way. But if we had held up a counterspell for the lightning bolt, we would have died to the creatures on board, so it didn't matter. All right, well, we went 2-3 with this deck. It seemed kind of cool at first. We were really doing it, and then we did not get to play a game because we mulliganed 5 times for a single land, and then we lost another game because we just couldn't find a land. So 14 lands is all fun and games until until we can't ever find a land. Stream delay, you hadn't said it yet. No, I understand. No worries. Yeah, this deck's okay. I was liking it in the first half, and then the second half showed why 14 lands is so dangerous. Kind of makes me... It was 1 league, so it's small sample size. Kind of makes me want to just keep playing the 16 land versions. But it is fun to just have even more counter magic, I will say. 15 lands on Well That's Preordained. You could do that for sure. That could be a way to do it. But obviously, Illuminati's done incredibly well with it. It's a fine deck that maybe I'm just not piloting correctly or just got a little unlucky. But that's okay. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.